So 48 matches of the 2018 World Cup are over. 16 of the 32 teams have headed back home. And now we start the knockout phase in which 16 teams have reached. It's been a very turbulent World Cup with lots of upsets. It clearly shows the gap is narrowing between the so-called big teams, the favorites, Germany, France, Brazil, Argentina, Spain, and Belgium, and the other countries. But in the final count, the European and South American countries have still had the last laugh because they know how to grind out results. They have still that ability, that extra dimension, that cutting edge, that in crucial moments they can get decisive results. So of the 16 teams that have qualified, 10 are from Europe, 4 from South America, only 1 from Asia, Japan, and 1 from the Central American region, Mexico. There's no African team in the second round for the first time since 1982, which is a bit of a surprise, but African teams overall have not done well in this World Cup, with Egypt losing all 3 matches. Morocco played very well, but in the end lost 2 matches. Nigeria also were within a whisker of qualifying, but then Marcus Royo's goal prevented them. Tunisia were outclassed by Belgium and lost to England. Senegal were really unlucky, but they lost on the FIFA new rule, the fair play rule. And Japan got ahead because Senegal had more yellow cards. Overall, the most striking aspect of this World Cup has been that the use of the video assistant referee. And there have been complaints, Morocco, Senegal, Iran, some of the countries have complained, but overall I think it's a very useful rule because it is acting as a aid to the referees. It is helping the referees to avoid mistakes. There is a backup option now. And consequently, we have seen now so many penalties, 24 penalty kicks being awarded, 19 being converted, which had never happened in World Cups earlier. Because now there is the backup. The video assistant referee can call the referee, he can go and check up, and it's not leading to major hold-ups, which was the fear that the momentum of the match will go. He quickly runs, spots it, and comes back running and points out goal or not goal, or, yellow card or not, or penalty or not. I mean, France won their first match with Australia due to technology. They got a penalty on the VAR, and then the Pogba shot, with the goal line technology we done it. So technology has come into football finally, and despite the setbacks, a lot of people who are skeptical about it, I think it's a wonderful thing. It needs fine-tuning. It's not perfect, just like when the third umpire started in cricket. It needs fine-tuning, but it can get better and better because it's leading to situations where, with the human eye, the referee liked the goal. He awarded Senegal a penalty against Colombia. To the human eye, it seemed fine. But then when we saw it on about 3-4 replays, the VAR was justified. It wasn't a penalty. Yes, it was unfortunate for Senegal, the country with the lowest GDP in the World Cup. And I thought the most impressive African team, that they got knocked out. But there are lots of decisions like this. Spain's equalizer against Morocco. Human eye, it seemed offside, but then when looked at carefully, Aigo Aspas's goal was justified. And Kyle Walker being pulled up for a penalty against Tunisia. It was again the VAR which confirmed it. So I think VAR has been a major success. I even approve of the FIFA fair play rule because it will teach teams to be more ethical. There will be no more time wasting. There will be no more ruthless fouls because then in future World Cups, I think all of the coaches haven't understood the rule yet. In future World Cups, they will realize that like Senegal, we may get penalized for having too many yellow cards. So it will lead to fair play and more attacking football, which in the long run is what everybody wants, entertainment. So I think both these innovations are good. They obviously need fine-tuning. The yellow card thing is very clear. There is a -1 point for one yellow card. If the same player gets 2 yellow cards, then you get -3 points. If it's a direct red, it's -4, and it all adds up like that. So the technical innovations have been wonderful. Group-wise, if we see, The only really major upset obviously has been Germany. The holders, 4 times champions, being knocked out of Group F, and it's absolutely unbelievable. So personally, I've never seen a German team which was so one-paced, so vulnerable to counter-attacks, lacking cohesion, lacking spirit. German teams are known for their great fighting spirit. It is obvious that several players are past their sell-by date, and Joachim Löw has made a major mistake that in 4 years since 2014, or at least 2 years since Euro 2016, he hasn't reshaped this team. Mesut Ozil, Sami Khedira, Thomas Muller, and several others have really, there doesn't seem to be any more fire in the belly in these players. And he didn't have trust in the younger players like Leon Goretzka and others. The Brandt, who he got on for such a small time. Somehow it just didn't work out for Germany. Manuel Neuer, also recovering after injury, was not at his best. Matt Hummels was not at his best. And so that has been the biggest surprise. Otherwise, it has really gone according to form. Argentina coming second was probably a bit of a surprise. But otherwise, as I said, the matches have been very close. But in the final run, they still have the cutting edge, the European and South American teams. Group A, if we see, Russia was a bit of a revelation, the way they overwhelmed Saudi Arabia, and Denis Cheryshev and Alexander Golovin really excelled. So Mohamed Salah didn't fire on all cylinders. He's probably not fully match fit. So Egypt ended up at the bottom, even losing to Saudi Arabia in the last match. So there again, Uruguay and Russia were the 2 best teams, and Russian coach Cherchev made the mistake of resting some of his key players, so Uruguay finished on top. Group B, Spain and Portugal, as expected, had a struggle because both Morocco and Iran are very fine defensive teams. But finally, the 2 best teams went through, Spain and Portugal. Of course, the match they played against each other was probably the finest match of the 48 matches played so far. The 3-all draw, Cristiano Ronaldo's hat-trick, and the quality of passing, the movement, the mobility, the control that Spain displayed was absolutely overwhelming in that match. They were unlucky. Nacho scored a brilliant goal. Costa scored 2 very thrustful goals. They made mistakes, conceding the free kick and that mistake by David De Gea, which led to Ronaldo's second goal. Morocco fought valiantly, but unfortunately he could only draw 1 match. Iran did beat Morocco by last-minute own goal. Again, in Ali Reza Berganan, they probably had the best goalkeeper of the tournament so far. And Morteza was an excellent man marker. And that Taremi also in midfield, as well as Azatullahi. I mean, obviously Iran though they haven't qualified, I think they are by far the best Asian team in this World Cup because they could match both Spain and Morocco. But Iran had a chance on the last day if they would have upset Portugal. But it wasn't to be. The Cristiano Ronaldo missed a penalty, but still it was a 1-all draw. But Iran can go back with their heads held high. Group C, France were very overwhelming. They're still not at their best. For them, sadly, Griezmann is not really firing. He's not getting the goals. He's not moving so well. But still the speed of Mbappe and the power and precision of Pogba and Giroud is in very good form as a target man. They have a very solid defense. It's a good all-round team and with lots of good replacements. So there was no surprise that they topped the group. Peru were unlucky to lose. They missed the first penalty of the tournament, Christian Cueva, missing against Denmark. Losing that match, they went out of the reckoning. And though they beat Australia in the end, you feel sad for Peru because they were a quality side. But again, Christian Eriksen led Denmark excellently. So again, the top 2 teams have qualified. France first, Denmark second. Group D was a surprise with Iceland holding Argentina to a draw. And the penalty save of Lionel Messi by Helderson, the Iceland goalkeeper, who also writes film scripts as a hobby and works on drama scripts, was really quite dramatic. And Croatia have been the revelation in this group. the midfield marshaled by Luka Modric and Rakitic with Perisic has been absolutely outstanding, both in the middle of the field and on the flanks. And Croatia, for me, really is the dark horse, the surprise element of this tournament. And the way they outclassed Argentina, they just did not let Argentina come into the game. They closely marked Lionel Messi, and Modric's goal was absolutely outstanding. The way he beat Otamendi, sort of dribbled one way, then opened his body and went the other way and just left Otamendi flat-footed before firing in. That was again an outstanding match. Nigeria was on the brink of qualifying after beating Iceland 2-0 with a great goal by Ahmed Musa, but they lost their nerve, I think, in the end. They got over-defensive, and Argentina made those right changes, bringing in the two wingers, Pavon and Novy, Maximiliano. So they attacked with speed, and Marcus Royo got the winning goal. So there's a bit of a surprise. One expected Argentina to top, but Croatia topped. Group E, yes, Brazil struggled in the first two matches. With Costa Rica, they could only score in added time. With Switzerland, it was a 1-1 draw. And they found, I think, their rhythm in the last match with Serbia, especially the passing. And instead of Neymar, it's Philippe Coutinho who's really pulling the strings. His range of passing, his long-range shots, his clever positioning in midfield. And what Tite has done is make this team which is not over-dependent on Neymar. I think that's why Brazil is doing so well. They are rotating the ball very well. There is a large amount of flair with a solid defense. And for once, Brazil have an excellent goalkeeper in Alisson. So Brazil can be one of the favorites for this World Cup, and credit to Tite that they have got over the shambles of 2014 where they were outed by Germany. So Brazil topped. Switzerland and Serbia was a very tense, tough, tenacious, typical European match. And Switzerland, I mean, the genius of Xherdan Shaqiri helped them to get it, helped them to get the vital 3 points, which has taken them through. So no surprises here. Brazil first, Switzerland second. Serbia were good. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic is probably one of the finest young midfielders of this tournament. 6'4", he has magical control, like as good as any of the Brazilians. He will be a star to watch out for. Costa Rica unlucky. There's probably an aging squad, despite Keylor Navas's heroics. They couldn't repeat what they did in Brazil 2014. Group F, of course, is the biggest surprise. Germany being knocked out. Mexico were really very good. And in Irving Lozano, they have another young star of this tournament. And I believe Real Madrid and Barcelona are looking to sign him. He scored a dream goal against Germany. And on the last day, it was a dramatic change of fortunes, because if Germany had beaten Korea Republic, with Sweden beating Mexico so comfortably 3-0, Mexico could have been knocked out of the tournament, despite, winning both their first two matches. So this was a very dramatic group, but ultimately, it's the first time ever you had Germany losing two group matches and just scoring 2 goals. So this was a surprise in which, Sweden has topped and Mexico had come second with no Germany there. Group G was the easiest of the two groups, so the easiest of the 8 groups, because the two expected teams, Belgium and England, qualified. And Harry Kane scored a wonderful hat-trick against Panama, where England won by 6-1, one of their biggest margin of victory in the World Cup. And England also beat Tunisia. Belgium have been, devastatingly good, because even when they rested 8 key players, they could beat England comfortably. Belgium trounced Tunisia as well as Panama, and with Romelu Lukaku, Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, and so many others, Dre Martins and others at their best, Belgium is definitely a very dangerous team. So Belgium-England here. Group H was a unique group because it had represented from each continent. Poland, Europe, Senegal, Africa, Colombia, South America, Japan, Asia. This was a very open group. Japan started very well against Colombia. They got that penalty in which Shinji Kagawa's through pass and the young striker Osako's speed and quick shots helped them get the penalty, which led to Carlos Sanchez getting a red card. So Japan had a brilliant start, but then struggled against Senegal 2-all. Poland was the disappointment here. Many of us expected Lewandowski to finish as the top scorer of the tournament. He was an aspirant for the Golden Boot, but it did not work out. For him, I think, didn't get the support. Poland is also an aging team. Senegal were an outstanding team. The way they beat Poland 2-1, I thought Sadio Mane was absolutely brilliant, and the overlapping right back Moussa Wage, Kalibali, the central defender, and Idris, the hard tackling defensive midfielder. So Senegal were really unfortunate not to qualify, because I think the coach Aliou Cissé didn't really impress upon his players the importance of not getting yellow cards. I think Japan got through because they were more disciplined. Colombia came back, but though James Rodriguez is not at his best, they are a very clever team, and the round of 16 match with England could be very entertaining. Radamel Falcao scored the goals. Yerry Mina and Davinson Sanchez are a good central defensive pairing. So Colombia will not an easy team to beat, and David Ospina is again showing good form. So Colombia through and Japan through on the FIFA fair play rule. These are the 16 teams that have qualified. In most of the groups, it has gone according to plan. In some, especially Germany's group, was a major upset. Looking to the round of 16, the top half of the draw seems much easier, seems much tougher, and it kicks off with a dream match between France and Argentina. This was a match which was expected to be a semi-final. Both were favorites for the competition, but one of them is going to get eliminated on Saturday in the first round of 16. Then Uruguay play Portugal. If Portugal win and Argentina win, there will be a dream quarterfinal of Lionel Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo, Argentina versus Portugal, which has never happened. And Portugal will have it very tough, because in Cavani and Luis Suarez, Argentina has two informed strikers and a very tough defense, especially if Gordon is fit, Diego Gordon of Atletico Madrid. Jimenez is also a very tenacious defender. They combine very well, and Uruguay can upset Portugal, because Portugal is over-reliant on Cristiano Ronaldo for goals. France-Argentina also very difficult to predict. France haven't been at their best.